What is prayojana? Prayojana means it's a goal or the fruit of some endeavor. Whatever we do in this world has a reason towards a goal only. That goal is called prayojana. So depending on the goal of a person, the prayojana will be actually different. But here by prayojana, we are actually talking about Krishna consciousness and related to the spiritual endeavors. What is the prayojana? So we really saw that the highest prayojana in Krishna consciousness is to get rati and going towards prema. Prema is the ultimate fruit of the Krishna bhakti. So again, now if you really do see a summary of the whole thing, we covered these three things about Vaishnava Dharma recently, right? So Sambandha Jnana. Sambandha, that is relation among Bhagavan, Jiva and Jada, that is Jagat. So Bhagavan is full, Jivas are tiny. So Jiva is a servant of Bhagavan. Jiva Sakti is superior energy of Bhagavan and Jada Sakti is inferior energy. Jada Sakti is also called Maya. So Jada Sakti is controlled by Durga Devi, who is the shadow of Yoga Maya in the spiritual dimension. So that is Sambandha. So we have to understand our real Sambandha spiritually is to really have relation with Bhagavan and relinquish the Jada, Maya. That is the goal towards we are going. Okay, so we are the Jiva. So this is the way it's there. We have to somehow or other, to throw the Maya out and then go back to Bhagavan. Okay, so that is our goal. Abhideya. What is Abhideya? Abhideya means sadhana, devotional activities. So we then again covered that there are two kinds of sadhana, Vaiti sadhana and Raganuga sadhana. So what is Vaiti sadhana? Vaiti sadhana is actually the one which really has a lot of rules and regulations, but it is really for the favor of something, to enjoy eventually. And like such as liberation or going to Vaikuntha, things like that. So Raganuga sadhana bhakti takes one to Goloka Vrindavan. So this all we really discussed that. Now prayojana, that is the final stage, is the absolute goal of the jivas. According to all the highest sastras, they all say the jiva's ultimate goal is Krishna prema, not even moksha. No. Krishna prema is so high, we cannot even imagine. So by today's class, we are actually completing the prayojana tattva. Okay, so all the other tattvas we really covered before. Now, let us quickly get into the bhava or called rati. What is bhava or rati? It is a mellow of affectionate feeling for Krishna. What are the symptoms? When you really sing or when you do chanting or when you do puja or anything that whenever you really think about the Lord, what happens? Your voice chokes when talking about Krishna or singing about Krishna. Tears running out, without control when thinking about Krishna or chanting, and more we will see in the, so we really saw a lot, and then today in this part we are actually seeing little more detail and then completing. So now one of the related sloka that I really quoted was Nayanam galat ashru dharaya vadanam gad kada ruddaya gira pulakhair nichitam vapuk kada tavanama grahane pavishyati. This is from Siksha Ashtakam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, because I cannot really control my tears whenever I really to chant your namas, think about you. And so basically that's a goal that one should get. So basically when will that time will come? When I really cry profusely like this, when I really talk to you, when I think about you. Okay, so this is the bhava. So bhava actually comes from the blessings and mercy from a pure devotee such as a guru. Now, we also just saw that in the Bhava Bhakti, there are two kinds of Bhava Bhakti actually. One is Vaiti Bhakti, and then the Raganuga Bhakti, right? So Vaiti Bhakti actually starts with Shraddha, which is faith in Guru and faith in Sastras. Sadhu Sangha comes afterwards, association with the devotee. So when the Shraddha comes, automatically Sadhu Sangha will come. Okay. Then Bhajana Kriya, doing devotional activities, that will come. Then the Anartha Nivritti, all our Anarthas. Anartha means unwanted things that we are, dealing with. Everything will actually, all will be thrown out. Then Nishtha will come. Nishtha means steadiness in devotion. So until that comes, Vaidhi Bhakti has to, so the Vaidhi Bhakti actually helps to a devotee to really go through all these 5 stages before getting into Ruchi and Asakti, etc. But a Raganuga devotee, he doesn't really have, he's not going to go through all those, because he's already, in his past lives, he has accrued so much of Sukriti and all those, so he will be straight away get into Ruchi, which is the taste and devotion. And then attachment to Krishna comes, which is called Asakti, and then the loving mellow towards Krishna comes. This is really very nice. That is what the bhava is. That bhava, then there are 64 or 120, there are so many kinds of different manifestations of bhava, which it takes to prema with so many different varieties. For example, prema here if you see the bhava, final stage is called Mahabhava. That Mahabhava, only Srimati Radharani has that. But her manifestation, that means all the gopis, everybody, they all have different kinds of that bhava. Okay, so this subject is very, very high. Not everywhere you can actually hear all these things. It's actually very, very difficult topic, but you won't be able to really hear all those. Now again, for Vaidhi Bhakti, what is that? It starts from Shraddha and goes higher and until Ruchi, and then continues. Raganuga Bhakti straight away starts the Ruchi, right? So in Raganuga, there is no sadhana involved. See, example, gopis never performed any sadhana to get Krishna. Because they were all divine personalities. Straight away they will actually get no rules, no regulation, no dharma, nothing. Okay, to really show us that this particular, the bhava is beyond all the rules and regulation, which will break even dharmas. That was the reason gopis all came along with Krishna to prove that point. Okay, that was the reason, so Srimati Radharani was even married to a shadow of Krishna who is called Abhimanyu. It's a shadow of Krishna only, but he couldn't touch. Why? Because to really prove the point that this bhava is beyond any dharma. So if you see there, the obstruction that all the gopis really went through is to prove that same point. Because people may argue, they all violated their dharma. They threw out all their relations, their father, mother, children, house, and these and all the relations they really threw out. They even threw out their own husbands, supposed to be husbands. They are all actually Krishna only. This is the mood which is really important to really understand, that there is no dharma or no rules and regulation involved in the highest Raganuga Bhakti. This is the important. Not that many souls will be able to even understand this. Okay? Yes. Now, being said, we will actually go further. So, we were actually reading about something called Bhava Abhasa. Bhava Abhasa. Because what is Bhava? Bhava is Rati. So now if you see that Rati means mellows, because people you can see they cry and tears come and then they shout, run, roll on the ground and things like that. But are they really real? So Suddha Bhava is something very different. Okay, so these Bhava Abhasa are actually all fake Bhavas. Here's an example that we really saw. A man desires material enjoyment, wealth, fame, and this and that, all the things, so on. So he intensively worships Durga Devi. Why? Because Durga Devi can actually give all this. Krishna won't give. Because Krishna, if he really wants to favor a devotee, he will never give those material things. So that man is intensively worshipping Durga Devi. And Durga Devi even gives him darshan, direct darshan. So the devotee feels so ecstatic and rolls on the ground crying, "Oh Durga, oh my mother." And he even advertises everywhere so that every people will also come to know that that happened. So this is not Suddha Bhava. It is called Bhava Abhasa. It is not Bhava, even though it looks like externally. It is like a fool's gold. It's fake. So, sense enjoyers can never get Rati. Okay? So, they get Bhava Abhasa. That is so that I told us like a fool's gold. What is fool's gold? If you really remember the history, from Europe. That time it was actually Columbus discovered, America. Then there are some places where there are so much of fool's gold is there. So they really brought even ships to really, cut the thing pieces, and then all were actually sent to some European, a king actually arranged that. And finally it all turned out to be useless, totally nothing. Okay, so that is a fool's gold. Okay, this is actually, there is a chemical, in fact, it looks like gold, but it's not gold. So that is what is called Bhava Abhasha. Now here is another example. There are so many people are talking about Krishna Bhakti, but this is not, you have to understand. There are a lot of things are fake. Yeah, for example, a man desires liberation, moksha. So his belief is in Nirvishesha. For example, here whatever say, so he's a Mayavadi, but he is so famous. And what is it? Thinks about to get to the Nirvishesha. He is trying to do all kinds of karma yoga, ashtanga yoga, jnana yoga, these yoga, so all many things, and he is trying to meditate on nothing. Nirvishesha means what? Nothing, Brahman. How can you do it to really concentrate on something which is not there? And you go to the meditation room and then there, sleep there. Sleep and then come out. This is not bhakti at all. But they talk about bhakti. Why they talk about bhakti? They somehow come to know that by doing chanting of the holy names of Radha Krishna, now I can get this Nirvishesha, liberation quickly. So he chants, weeps, and even faints when chanting. But it is not Suddha Nama. Because it is not Suddha Nama, so, and it's not spontaneous love for Krishna. It is a business. He is worshipping for some profit, some ultimate goal behind. This is cheating. So this is Bhava Abhasha. Okay? This is very important. So Mayavadis, such as whatever you really see, there are so many Mayavadis are there. Especially so many under Shankaracharya, and also there are so many, they are all lined up. They are all not devotees. The Lord Krishna told Lord Shiva to appear as Lord Shankaracharya, to take these non-devotees and demons away from him. So he really taught. You really teach them that you are God. Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, such so many, there are 5 Mahavakyas. That's what they really take from the Vedas and then misinterpret that. And these are all, even if they really have any bhakti, if at all, this Bhava Abhasha. Okay, Mayavadis can never get it. Any emotion that, if at all we see in them, is called Kubhava. Okay, so we really read that also. Kubhava. But a Suddha Bhava leading to Prema is unconditional. Okay, and it comes only from Raganuga Bhakti. Okay, only from Raganuga Bhakti this can come. Raganuga Bhakti is unconditional, not expecting anything in return. Now ask yourself, do I ask for wealth, fame? Then I am actually way fallen. Not even a bhakta. I am a business guy. I am actually doing all the worship and all the puja, this and everything, giving so much of money and this and everything. Why? Because I am expecting something. I want a BMW. I want this. I want that. I want fame. I want to be comfortable. I want to be happy. That's why I am actually praying to Lord Krishna. I am actually very fallen. Not even a bhakta. You are doing business. Then do I ask for moksha, liberation? If I do, then definitely I am not a Raganuga. Out of the question. Done, finished. Do I ask any favor from Krishna at all? Any favor? Oh Lord, in our family, I want this and that, I want that, and my son or, they really should really get married and this, everything. These are all nonsense. You are really trying to bind yourself more and more in this Mayic world. So if I am really expecting any favor from Krishna, it is clearly not Raganuga. Prema Bhakti, or called Suddha Bhava, will come only to the Raganuga Bhakta. Period. And even that Suddha Bhava, is it really easy to really get it? Extremely difficult. then who gives the Suddha Bhava? So this question comes. Is it possible to get Suddha Bhava? How can I get it? Here are very important points. Krishna does not give prema. Period. Okay, very important point. It may be surprising. It may be a big surprise for you. I am really worshipping Krishna, and then you are saying that Krishna is not going to give me prema or bhava. No, he is not going to give. Also, as we covered, surely a Mayavadi can never get it. Surely a sense enjoyer can never get it. Even gods and gods and gods not able to get it. But what about a renounced sadhaka? He is really accepted a guru and he is performing the sadhaka and who really practices sadhana very perfectly. Can he get it? No. Not even to fully renounced, perfected sadhaka. We are talking about a jewel which is really absolutely impossible to even visualize. It is way out of our reach. Then how can one get Suddha Bhava? Only a Premi Bhakta can give it out of mercy. But to get that, you have to take the dust from his lotus feet and smear on your body. So Krishna hid that very special thing. Where he is really hiding that? He knew that nobody will go and then touch the lotus feet of a high-class devotee. Because high-class devotee will never show even. Nobody can even know who is a high-class devotee. It's not possible. Just from our eyes, material eyes, we can never find who is a Suddha Bhakta. It's not possible. So even if we find, then your ego will stop. How can I really give Tandavat Pranams? How can I really touch his feet? But Krishna has purposely put this power at the feet of the Prema Bhakta. It's very important. Only he can give. See, look at it. Krishna cannot give. Krishna in fact will not give. Why? Because if he gives, it is like you are actually, holding your kudumi, your hair and then giving to everybody. Okay, all right, you just catch me and then control me. Because Prema Bhakta can control Krishna. That is what Radharani, all the gopis do. All the Prema Bhaktas, they are all what? Krishna is under them. When this same Krishna went to Dwaraka, what did he really take along with him? Yes, chimil, one chimil, he really took it. It had inner, a layer by layer, it was there. What was that? Every day, he opens up, very sacred. And he takes, that's a dust. He takes it and then put it on his head. That is a dust from Gopi's feet. Krishna. You have to understand, this is not easy. Whatever that the topic we are talking about right now, it is not supposed to be really given to everybody. It is very high. And if you are not careful, you are not going to even learn about Suddha Bhava. Forget about getting it. Now you have to avoid these kind of people if you want Suddha Bhava. Bhukti Kami, anybody who is sense enjoyers. Body, this and enjoyment, pleasure, this, heaven, I want to go to heaven, this and that. Forget about them. You should not associate with them. Period. Cut. Mukti Kami, those who are desiring to moksha, liberation, I want to merge in Brahman. Finished. No, you have to cut them out. Otherwise you are not going to get the Suddha Bhava. Then also Sridhar, Bhakti Rashaka, Sridhar Maharaj, and our Acharya say, Vaikunta Kami. Those who want to go to Vaikunta, cut them out. This is really so much. Look at here. You have to avoid all these kind of kamis, 3 kinds of kamis that I am talking about. Then, if you do this and mingle only with Krishna Bhaktas, especially Premi Bhaktas, how will you know he is actually Premi Bhakta? He is not going to really tell you. He will say that I am not even a Vaishnava. How will you find? That is your Sukriti. This is why that I am telling again and again and again. Don't accumulate wealth. It is just to really live in this world. You don't need so many things. Just one small house, and so whatever that is the thing. So that this is roti kapada our makan. That's all it is. See, that's the only thing that you need. But if you really accumulate more than that, you are actually a thief, and you are really out of this Krishna Bhakti forever. So you have to come out of it. And now I am going to get into another topic, which is very important, which will come in the Nama Tattva, and it is called Vaishnava Aparadha. Even when one comes to the level of Sutta Bhava, here is something extremely important. If the devotee commits aparadha to a Krishna devotee or Vaishnava, his or her Sutta Bhava will disappear. Like a moon in the dark half of lunar month. It goes from, just finished. What will happen ultimately? No moon at all. No moon. Total dark. That is, he will be completely wiped out of bhakti forever. Vaishnava Aparadha is way, way dangerous. So Lord Chaitanya mentioned that it is like an elephant entering into your house. An elephant, think about. An elephant entering into a house, what will it do? What will it do? It will completely destroy everything, including your own home. So you have to be very careful, extremely careful on this. Krishna Bhakti Marga is easy to get in. Easy to get in. But extremely difficult to maintain and get the prayojana, which we have been covering. Anyway, so we are going to go into more detail. I am really giving some generic practical points as to recognize what are called Vaishnava Aparadha. Not giving obeisances to higher Krishna devotee, senior devotees. Any senior devotee we see, at once we have to give obeisance. Are we doing it? We are only talking ill about others. Forget about giving obeisance. Then not greeting a Krishna devotee. Hare Krishna, please, so you have to give Dandavat Pranams. Then more dangerous things. Criticizing a Krishna devotee. This is the snake, poisonous snake. Once it bites, you are finished. And so in the same way, giving pain to a Krishna devotee, you are actually doing something very bad to making him to cry. You are finished. Krishna is closing the door for you. And he is actually not only closing the door, he actually pushes you out. So you can never ever, even chanting so many full days, you are not able to come back to him. He is very serious. Krishna is very serious. You can insult Krishna, but you can never insult a Krishna Bhakta. A Krishna devotee is completely protected by Krishna. Then also people even chant. Look at it. They chant during Harikatha. Somebody is doing Harikatha. This guy, instead of actually doing it, chanting at home, he's coming here and they're doing the chanting. There you go. Now, that's the Vaishnava Aparadha. Finished. Then chanting during Krishna Kirtan is going on. It could be even a child. But there's a child is singing about a bhajan. Okay, let me finish my chanting. Finished. You are finished again. And even Aarati time they are actually having the beads and then chanting. This is ridiculous. So again, I really want to bring up the important thing that our Gurudev always said. See. Never criticize. Never complain. And others is always chant. But here a question comes. What about a Guru? Because Guru is actually dealing with Vaishnavas too. His disciples. Can he really do something, so that he really, cries, for example? That is called chastising. So a Guru can chastise, Without chastising, the disciple can never become perfect. It is not criticizing, it is chastising. In fact, if you are initiated and getting chastised by your guru, then you are fortunate. If a guru is not chastising you and then saying, oh yeah, this good, that good, that, oh, you are excellent, this is very nice, oh, keep going. But if he is not really chastising you, it is not a good sign. In fact, Advaita Acharya was senior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always giving, who is Krishna, Radha Krishna combined. So he was actually, giving respect to Advaita Acharya, who is Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva combined. So then Advaita Acharya was really feeling so bad, he was not getting criticized at all. So then he really came to Ganga and he was really started to preach Mayavada. Oh, this is the thing, I am Brahman, this is everything. And this is against Krishna Bhakti. So as soon as we really saw, because he purposely wanted Lord Chaitanya to hear all this nonsense and so that he will kick him. Lord Chaitanya really came to know that he's doing this kind of thing. Came out and kicked on his chest and kicked like left and right. And Advaita Acharya was really so in ecstasy. He started dancing. Now I am chastised. Now I am getting chastised. Very nice. Oh, that is the grace. Very important. Okay? If you are getting chastisement, you are from your Guru. You are. Because he considers that you are to be perfect. This is from the slide from yesterday. Who is the best Guru? This is from Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. I just put that thing yesterday, disappearance day observance yesterday that we really did as a Harikatha. One should be disciplined by the Guru. Unless I am being disciplined by Guru, I will act whimsically. I won't listen. If Guru gives some command, you should go there. You are not going there. Finish. You are out. You are out of the Guru. There is no Guru anymore. Pride will develop in me. Just getting a mantra, people think that they are already Krishna. That means a demoniac attitude will be there. I will become a demon instead of a devotee, a Vaishnava. Unless my Guru catches my ear and slaps me, how can I become humble? How can I surrender or dedicate myself? Not possible. And Guru tells something, you do something else. A Guru, whatever he says, you jump in the well and then die, you should do it. That's what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the punishment to Chota Haridas. He said, you just kill yourself by dipping because of the aparadh, what you did. Kill. He went to the Ganges, yes, jumped there and left the one. Even Prabhupada's case also, there was one actually happened. He actually tied a stone on his belly and then, immersed and then left the body. This is what the power, the kind of respect that one should give to Guru. Now, this Vaishnava Aparadh I was talking about, how can I nullify? Suppose I did a Vaishnava Aparadh. I did. How do you know? When I am chanting, is the tears coming? No. Is any bhava at all? No, it dried. Like the dried lake. Nothing is coming. And no bhava is coming. I am slowly losing the bhakti. Losing the Krishna bhakti. What can I do? What is the reason? The reason is you must have done a Vaishnava Aparadh. So the question comes here. Suppose knowingly or unknowingly I made a Vaishnava Aparadh. What can I do? Listen to this story. Once Ambarish Maharaj was worshipping Lord Narayana in Vrindavana, observing the Dwadasi, Ekadasi and Dwadasi. On Dwadasi day, after Ekadasi, when he was about to break his Ekadasi fast, today's Ekadasi actually here, tomorrow we are supposed to break that around that given time. So if you do not break the fast during the given time, the benefit of Ekadasi Vrata is gone. It's not going to happen. Anyway, so the great mystic yogi called Durvasa, who is an Amsa of Lord Shiva in fact, appeared in his palace and became his guest on that day, Dwadasi day. Durvasa Muni was so famous for testing devotees and giving curses or blessings. This time he wanted to test Ambarish Maharaj. King Ambarish Maharaj respectfully received Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni, after accepting his invitation to eat, went to bath. He said, I am going to take bath in Yamuna. and that's around the noon time. But he was planning. As planned, he purposely delayed to get back before the time to break for the Dwadasi. Maharaja Ambarisha was wondering what to do. I have to pray because this is very important. Ekadasi is actually Bhakti Janani. So I have to really observe this. And your time was passing, and then by contacting, by consulting with the Brahmanas, then he said, okay, don't worry, just drink the water, that is fine, that is not really going to insult any guest. Because the thing is, when you have a guest in our home, we are not supposed to drink or eat anything without giving to them first. Okay, so that's the reason. But as he exactly planned, so now Ambarish Maharaj was really taking the water in the palm, and then he was about to drink. That time, exactly as planned, Durvasa Muni showed up inside. And he got angry. What kind of bhakta you are? And you are telling that you are great and this everything. You cannot even honor a guest. So he really pulled out of hair and dashed on the ground, and a demon just like that appeared, because he is very powerful. And the demon was approaching Ambarish Maharaj to devour. But immediately the chakra appeared from the Lord. Actually, the chakra appeared from Ambarish Maharaj, because every devotee Lord has really hidden a chakra in every devotee actually. So it didn't come from Vaikunta, no, it came right from there, and he really cut the head of the demon, and then it started to chase the Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni was running. He didn't want to really kill though. So he was running and running. He really went to all over the places, Brahmaloka, Shivaloka, these and that, but nobody was able to help him. Everybody said, no way, we cannot help you. Finally, he had to go to Lord Narayana, and Lord Narayana said, oh, this is very bad. He said, I cannot excuse, because I cannot really excuse a person who had offended a Vaishnava. Because for me, my devotee is higher. And if you insulted him, and how can what power I have to really clear? If you insulted me, it is nothing. I would have really wiped up your aparad straight away. But you insulted my devotee. I have no power to really wipe out this. You have to go back. So what can I do? There is no other way. And the Durvasa Muni was told, you go back to the same Vaishnava whom that you offended. So Durvasa Muni was really then running back, and so he really fled back to Ambarish Maharaj and fell at the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj, as you can see right there. This is the only way to nullify a Vaishnava aparad. If you think about, if you have ever done any Vaishnava aparad, your Krishna Bhakti is going to be finished. Like that moon, same thing. Okay, but if that is what that you feel, that it's not, my devotion is not coming, then either you are doing Guru Nindana or Vaishnava Nindana, which is called Vaishnava aparad. Now, Bhava Tattva, also we really talked about, there are two ways one can get this prayojana, that is Bhava. By sadhana, abhinna vesha jaya bhava, that is by spiritual practice, which is basically 99% of the case. By sadhana bhakti, one actually achieves this prayojana. And the second one is by the mercy of Krishna or his premi bhaktas. So that is the other option. So most of the people, 99% achieve by the bhava by doing the first one. Okay, that is spiritual sadhana under Guru. Very rarely some fortunate, the devotees actually get this directly by because when Krishna gives the darshan, straight away you will get bhava, and then through his bhakta. So I want to really show something. This is 2017. We made a whole India pilgrimage with Sripad Dandi Maharaj, who is now taking care of our Bangalore temple there. One day we were in Jaipur, where several original deities from Vrindavan are there. They were all moved when Aurangzeb was demolishing temples in Vrindavan. So near Jaipur lives this great Vaishnava. Our Gurudev used to stay at his place whenever he visited Jaipur for giving Harikatha. We were so lucky to meet him actually. He's an amazing Vaishnava, and Lord Krishna has given him direct darshan also. His name is Anirudh Prabhu, and he's still there. And when I really go to India next time, I am planning to really meet again. This is a part of video that I was, when I was talking to him.
And then chant until 7 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
Anyway, so I didn't want to really put big videos anyway. But anyway, you got that. So behind his home is actually a nice small hill. He calls this as Govardhan Hill. Actually, it's very nice. And our Gurudev blessed that your home is actually Vrindavan, and then the Govardhan is right there with you. That is how he is. So this is a simple puja room. He is also an Ayurvedic and homeopathy doctor. He has never taken any modern medication in his entire life, and is very healthy. He is now probably more, near to 100 or something now. But he does everything amazingly good. He's a great Vaishnava with amazing bhava. He chants all the time. He says that when he's chanting, he feels that a constant shower of nectar is pouring on him. As I said, he has also received direct darshan of Krishna. He eats only once a day. He says that anyone who eats more than once can never become a Vaishnava. Finished. None of our acharyas eat more than once a day. Mostly they don't really eat at all. That is also, if they eat, they're very little. Because people are arguing, otherwise their body will nothing. There are the Guinness record says, one person fasted for 363 days. That is the Guinness record. Without eating anything. Only drinking water. Now, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami drank just a palm full of buttermilk for the day. Nothing more. Anyway, so once Aniruddha Prabhuji was invited to really give a satsanga and was asked to give a Harikatha. He started the Harikatha with chanting the Mahamantra. But he could not come out of chanting the Mahamantra. He was crying and crying. This was the only thing that everyone heard instead of Harikatha, and that's what I am actually going to replay. So the whole Harikatha was this. So he could not get out of that. That was the only thing for the entire Harikatha. And all the crowd also got the same things he invoked in them. They also started crying. No Harikatha. That was the only Harikatha. So now the question is, do you cry like that Prabhuji when chanting? If you do not, then there is a possible Vaishnava aparat you had committed. Remember, a Vaishnava is not ordinary, even though he may look like a beggar. Only a Vaishnava can give us Sambandha, our relation with Krishna. Abhideya, the sadhana, how to do bhajana and sadhana. And ultimately, to achieve the prayojana, which is the ultimate goal, which is to bestow the bhava, leading to prema. So such a Vaishnava is really amazing. Because people don't know. They don't know the philosophy of Vaishnavas. So we have to really beg, "Oh Vaishnava Thakura, please give me your mercy, knowledge of my relationship, Sambandha with Bhagavan, and the ability to do bhajana, and send my ego far, far, far away, dur. If I think I am a Vaishnava, then I will never become humble. Oh yeah, I am initiated. I have a guru. I have this and everything. You are not a Vaishnava. So if I think that I am a Vaishnava, then I will never become humble. My heart will become contaminated. with the hope of receiving honor, pratishta from others. And I will surely go to hell. Oh Vaishnava Thakura, please give me the mercy that I can renounce the false conception of me, a guru. I am your servant. Let me accept without duplicity your remnants and your foot bath water and your feet dust on my head. Who will go here? Up to this, no, see, this is why getting prema, even gods cannot get it. There are 330 million gods in this Brahmanda alone. And there are unlimited Brahmandas. Gods are not having prema. Only in Goloka there is prema. Not anywhere else. Anywhere else because they want to enjoy. Vaikunta, whatever it is, Kailash, whatever it is, they want to enjoy. They want to do this and that and they want to take care of themselves. Nobody wants to say that I want to take care of Krishna. He is a child. Yashoda thinks that he is not God. And Goloka also, Gopi thinks he is not God. He is an object of love. We want to give everything for him. Krupa karo Vaishnava Thakur Sambandha Jnaniya Bhajite Bhajite Abhimana Hao Du Abhimana Hao Du. Oh Vaishnava Thakura, please give me your mercy, the Sambandha Jnana and the ability to do bhajana and kill my ego out. Abhimana, how dur, Abhimana, ego, how dur, throw out. Only you can. Amito Vaishnava, ye bhuti hoile, amanina hobe ami, pradishta saasim, hridaya dushibe, haibo niraya gami. Oh, if I think I am a Vaishnava, Ami, so Vaishnava, ye buddhi hoilo, if that went in my head, I will never become humble. My head won't even come down. My heart will become contaminated with the hope of receiving honor from others. I want others to give me honor. Pradishta. Then I will surely go to hell. Tomara kinkara apane janibo guru abhima natyaji. Tomara uchishta pada jala renu sada nishkapate bhaji. Please give me the mercy, oh Vaishnava Thakura, oh the real Vaishnava, who has Krishna under your control. Please give me the mercy that I can renounce the false conception of me, a Guru. I am your servant. Let me accept without duplicity your remnants and your foot dust and your foot bath on my head. Krupa karo Vaishnava Thakur Sambandha Jnaniya Bhajite Bhajite Abhimana Hao Du Abhimana Hao Du. So this is the status of how the prayojana, how are we going to get prayojana? Unless we are humble like this. And without the mercy of a real Vaishnava, Sutta Bhakta, you are going to go havoc. You are going to become a dog. That is what is happening. I am seeing also. So, you have to now think about what you have really gone through. All these things we are really read. I was trying to give you as much as by the mercy of my Gurudev. In fact, this song was really written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who actually also wrote the Jaiva Dharma, which we are reading. It's a version. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.